Building a premium corporate environment requires a massive capital expenditure. Custom boardroom tables, imported stone floors, and specialized architectural metals cost thousands of dollars, and they are carefully tracked on the balance sheet as significant capital investments. Yet a glaring disconnect happens after the construction is finished. The responsibility for preserving these capital investments is routinely awarded to the vendor offering the absolute lowest bid. These generic cleaning services rely on volume to stay profitable. That means utilizing standard aerosols, harsh chemicals, and abrasive tools that are chemically and physically incompatible with high-end architectural finishes. In this microscopic cross-section of a polished wood veneer, we see the physical mechanics of a standard wipe-down. Jagged, abrasive particles strike the surface repeatedly, leaving tiny indentations. Over weeks, these scratches accumulate until the protective layer is entirely eroded, resulting in irreversible degradation. Beyond the immediate physical wear, a degraded environment carries a heavy psychological cost. A subtly dull or scratched office sends an immediate signal of neglect to visiting clients, and it quietly drains the morale of the employees working there. Prioritizing the lowest possible cost for facility maintenance actively erodes the brand equity and client perception that the space was originally designed to project. A direct market correction to this paradox is emerging through firms like Florida-based Royala Services. They operate under a different model, positioning themselves away from the crowded janitorial space and operating instead as environmental performance partners. Their core operational philosophy is defined as asset preservation. Rather than simply emptying trash cans or completing a checklist of reactive chores, the entire strategy is designed around actively protecting the physical environment. This split-screen diagram illustrates the precision required for high-end materials. On the left, standard acidic cleaning chemicals are actively eating away at a porous geometric structure like natural stone. On the right, pH-neutral protocols seamlessly bind to the surface without altering its composition. Because those formulas form a solid protective boundary layer, they act as a preventative shield, actively extending the usable lifespan of expensive corporate installations. Scientific care integrates the cleaning schedule into a broader risk mitigation strategy, focusing on the long-term survival of the physical assets. The traditional cleaning industry struggles with a persistent vulnerability. The quality of the work almost always depends on the specific individual holding the mop on any given night. To eliminate that labor variability across high-visibility spaces, the process requires strict systemization. We can visualize this operational framework through a flowchart. When chaotic, varied inputs pass through a rigid filter of documented workflows and strict material checklists, disciplines that mirror manufacturing standards, they exit as a single, uniform output. That uniform output is then routed back into a feedback loop. Routine inspection protocols and open communication channels ensure that the standard is consistently met, whether it is in a single executive suite or across dozens of regional locations. True environmental performance relies entirely on this operational rigor. It guarantees that the physical space reliably protects the corporate brand, completely independent of which specific individual is performing the task. Returning to the executive boardroom, we can observe the space in its ideal state. A flawlessly maintained natural stone floor reflects the light, operating exactly as intended, as a peak visual asset. Maintaining the space at this level yields a dual return on investment. The first half is a measurable financial return. By preventing microdamage, a corporation can defer the massive replacement costs of high-value architectural materials for over a decade. The second half of that return is brand equity. Flawless presentation continuously signals precision, professionalism, and success to high-value corporate clients the moment they enter the suite. Corporate expectations show a sharp upward trajectory following 2020, with increased demands for health and presentation. Conversely, a second-line mapping commodity vendor capability remains entirely flat. The traditional low-cost model is failing, creating a massive, growing divergence gap. This gap explains why premium organizations managing executive suites and client spaces are actively abandoning commoditized labor. They require specialized, data-driven partners capable of meeting their specific requirements. A company's physical environment acts as a direct extension of its brand.
Maintaining that space requires a partner capable of executing to a specific standard, doing it right.